Good afternoon from Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today is Saturday. It was 45 and sunny. It's cooled down now. It's probably about 40. Not much of a breeze. Pretty decent day. Kind of chilly though. Keeping my ears warm. I'm going to do some yapping today. Let's see. First, I want to start off with a little bit of a 2020 recap. And I don't think 2020 went as well for anybody as they had planned at the beginning of the year. And there's I don't even want to think about it. There's just tons of people in this country that did not have a good year, and it's not looking great for 2021 either. But my 2020 was kind of disappointing. It was not my worst year ever, so there's there's always looking on the bright side of life. Let's go back to the beginning of the year. Before this whole, sickness started throughout the world, I got off to an okay start, and I had a very good video in November that really took off, and I was paying the bills, so that was good. And we got into the early part of the year, and other YouTube creators know that January is not a very good month as far as ads go. And then we got into February and March, and I started running out of my savings. And so, and that's when the whole sickness started around the world, and so things were looking down at that point. The Shindig in first weekend of April got canceled. And that I was really looking forward to in 2020 because the previous year gave me a huge boost. I was looking forward to, trading a bunch of my baby chicks, getting some plant starts, and getting going on a nice garden early in April. And because I know at the Shindig there was going to be some great varieties of plant starts to get me going on the gardening, but the Shindig did not happen. No offense, no fault to the hosts of that event, Roots and Refuge and VW Family Farm. They just, they had to do what they had to do. And so I was hoping that, the Shindig in April would give me a spur ahead, and then in May I was planning on, it was the 1 year anniversary of bringing this tiny house in and having all those incredible volunteers. I was planning on having like a 1 year reunion and inviting people back to do more work. Oh, but that got canceled. But I had saved enough. I had somebody help me with the $600 for a dumpster. One dumpster cost $600. Hi, Bob. And I had help with that, and I was going to invite people. I was going to invite some, I was going to hire some local kids to pick up trash and fill that dumpster. And April, the Shindig didn't happen, and then May didn't happen because of the sickness. And then I was at the end of my savings, and YouTube was not doing good for me. It was not paying the bills. And so I had to devote, pretty much from May until August to earning enough money to pay my bills and doing side work, stuff that I've done before on the side, research and writing and stuff like that. And I did not have time. I did not have time to do work around the homestead all summer long because I was too busy trying to make ends meet. And so it was a very down year this summer, because I couldn't keep up with the gardens. I was barely keeping up with the chickens. I was spending 4 or 5 hours a day, hustling, trying to make $20 here, $50 there, $100 if I was lucky on some side projects. And and then you guys came along Then I had the avalanche of disaster. I lost a bunch of chicks and chickens, and I lost a fence and 2 fences, and I lost an energizer for one of those fences got smashed, and I had given up. I had just about given up. I did not see how I was going to make it out here. And so I just unloaded on YouTube, and you guys came to the rescue in a very huge manner. More than 120 people contributed more than $6,000 to help me out and to get me out of that spiral down that I was going. So I can never say thank you enough for all of the help that I've gotten here at Bobblehead Homestead. So that was in August, and yeah, so I had an influx of some funds to do stuff with, and I started planning for what can I do with this property to improve it. And the way I wanted to improve it is I would like to be able to start selling hatching eggs on the internet legally. And I know people do it on eBay all the time who are doing it illegally, but they don't have YouTube channels and people narking on them. So I want to go by the book as far as that goes. In order to sell hatching eggs or baby chicks using the U.S. Postal Service, or in order to sell them across state lines, so outside of Arkansas, you have to be what is called NPIP certified. And that's the National Pelorum Inspection Program. It's a federal program. They inspect your property. They blood test all of your birds, all of your chickens. They test all of your incubators. They inspect your coops. They inspect your property. What they're looking for are abandoned buildings, trash piles, anywhere where mice and rats and other, varmints that can spread communicable diseases which chickens can get. If you've got a bunch of trash and abandoned buildings on your property, you're not going to pass it. Another thing they're going to look for is, do you have a pile of human manure or do you have a septic system? So there was a ton of work that I had to do here in order to pass that NPIP certification and inspection so that I could legally sell my eggs and baby chicks outside of Arkansas and through the mail. So that's what I was looking toward to doing in 2020. Things went south, but then you guys helped me out, so I was looking into doing that again this fall. So in September, one of the first things I need to do is I need something to replace the mobile home. The mobile home is junk. It's, I won't get into it. Everybody should know by now unless you're new. But, yeah, I need, it has electricity, some, when it wants to work. So I can run my incubators in there. I can also run my heat lamps. And it's also dry storage. There are some parts where the roof does not leak. And so I do have some dry storage in there. So I needed something to replace the mobile home where I could incubate chicks, where I could brood chicks for the first few weeks, and where I would have storage. In order to run incubators, you need an insulated, temperature-controlled area. You don't want it getting below like 55 degrees in the winter, and you don't want it getting over 80 degrees in the summer. That mobile home, without me running the air conditioner in a room, that mobile home would get well over 100 degrees without the air conditioner. And if it gets that hot and you're incubating eggs, you're going to lose the hatch because it got too hot for those chicks. So what I really needed to do was find something to replace the mobile home, and that was really step one before I could go any further. So that's what I was shopping in September for, some type of shed. One thing I found that I was almost, anyway, it was like a cargo trailer, 8 foot by 30 feet. I don't know if it's the exact same type that you'd see behind a big rig, but the front part had been done into an office. An 8 foot by 10 foot office or windows. There was an air conditioner. Electricity was run. It had electric outlets, and it was insulated. So that front 8 by 10 office I could have used for my incubators. It would have been temperature controlled. And then the other 20 feet of that was storage, and it already had shelves in that. And so I thought, okay, here is exactly what I need. A place for me to incubate my eggs and hatch the chicks, and a place for storage. And they were asking $5,400 on that, which was, I was looking more around the $2,000 range. So I didn't jump on that one. That was out of my range. And it turns out I'm glad I didn't jump on that because something else came up. So that would have been step one. Once I had a replacement for the mobile home, then I could get the mobile home out of here. And but that's easier said than done. You can give those things away, willy nilly. People will come and haul them off for you because they can scrap the metal or whatever. But there's more to it than just hooking something up to it and hauling it out of here. Ham radio tower. The ham radio tower had to come down. The tree at the end of the driveway had to come down so that it could get out the driveway. There are 3 trees that have grown up right alongside it, and those had to come down on one side, and then there's 2 more trees on the other side, the same thing. Those would have had to come down. So, 6 trees, a ham radio tower, and I had also, for the past few years, picking up, bigger junk that doesn't fit in a garbage bag, I've been throwing it around the mobile home. So that's what I wanted to do in May, was hire a crew or have volunteers and just clean everything around the mobile home, preparing to get that mobile home out of here. Also, I needed the electric company involved. Right now, the utility pole is right next to the mobile home. So I would have had the electric company come out and move my service from that pole to where I wanted it, and unhook the electric to the mobile home. And then I have a trench dug for my electric, so I would have had to have run the electric from the cabin through the trench to the new electric spot and refill in the trench. And so, yeah, I'm no electrician, so I would have needed help with that. So those are the things that would need to be done before I even think about the mobile home. And the mobile home I'd given away, I'd bartered it for heavy equipment work, years ago. So the mobile home was already spoken for. I didn't have any problems finding somebody who wanted it. I had a lot of problems finding people who would do all the work necessary to prepare to get that out of here. And so I was hoping to get that done in 2020, and it did not happen. Okay, so once I got the mobile home out of there, that would have helped me on my path to become NPIP certified, but I still did not have a septic system, and a septic system is going to be a few $1,000s. But the area where it would be best for me to put a septic system, far enough away from the water well, is covered in trash. And I'll take a pause right now and show you some of the trash that would have had to have been picked up for me to put a septic system in and for me to pass that federal NPIP inspection. Yeah, there's still a lot of trash back there. There's an area about a football field. I kid you not, it's about an acre, about the size of a football field, that is just full of trash. Cans and plastic bottles and glass bottles and aluminum tins and tin cans and just TVs, vacuums. What else do we see? An old grill stand or something. And yeah, there's an acre. Think of a football field and think of all of that scattered out all over a football field. And in one of the end zones, you saw how high some of that, some of those trash piles were. You know, it's like the end zone was full of 3 feet tall trash. So that would have been a very, 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 very huge job to pick all that stuff up and get this property trash free, so that I could legally sell chicks through the mail and outside of Arkansas. So, yeah, a lot of trash, and the septic system, I wanted it to go in that area, but you know, you got to run heavy equipment to dig out the hole for the septic tank, and if you're doing that over glass, you're just gonna, it's gonna be like the rest of the property. You know, where I have my chickens right now, I spent years picking up trash. I'm still picking up trash. The chickens are still digging up little pieces of glass and plastic and nails and all kinds of stuff. I still pick up almost every day. But yeah, in the area where they're at, it was a jungle, and I was able to get almost all the trash up by hand. And then we got it bulldozed and cleared. And same with behind me. That was all a jungle. I was able to get a lot of that picked up by hand. Once we got the old cabin, the shed thingy, shed house thing. I already forgot what I was calling that. That different came down, and they helped get rid of that. Yeah, I'm only using not even an acre right now, and it took me a long while to pick up all the trash in the area that I have now. And then for me to open up more area for the chickens, I can't put them in with a bunch of trash. Well, I can if I want them to die one by one, eating, you know, little plastic pieces. So that has limited me, you know, really expanding because that trash is in there. And if you go through there with heavy equipment, you're just going to make it worse. So yeah, so I've had enough space here for that, and that's been good enough. Also, 2020 and my plans was more work on the tiny cabin. The inside is basically finished. I've got a few little trim pieces. I'd like to run another electric outlet and, you know, just stuff like that. But I have outside work that needs to be done. One big thing is the foundation has settled. And so I've got a lot of squeaky, creaky floors. And I also have some drywall that is cracked because it has settled so much that it's, you know, shifted so much that the drywall has cracked. So the foundation is settled, and I need to re-level the foundation. That's not something I can do myself. And in fact, you know, we learned that we set it so close to the ground that you have to dig a huge hole in order to get a hydraulic lift, or, you know, something to prop it up in order to re-level it. So that was going to be a project that I was going to need help on. And yeah, have to get the cabin re-leveled, and then once I've gotten that re-leveled, then I could have started working on the skirting around the cabin. And then once I had the electric line run and buried in the trench, then, you know, then I could have started, you know, doing a porch or planting flowers around the cabin or whatever. But right now I have really been hamstrung on where I can do permanent things because there's so much work needs to be done. You know, I can't start working around the cabin until I'm done with the work on the cabin, as far as the foundation and the skirting and the electrical. And so, and then, you know, back there, I don't want to put any permanent structures because we need to get back there to put in a septic system someday, and I can't put stuff in front of the mobile home because it's got to come out of here, and I didn't want to put, so yeah, I was kind of hamstrung being able to do things permanently because there was so much work left to be done that I didn't want to do something and have it be in the way of something that had to come later. What else that needed to be done? But yeah, those were in my plans. You know, the tiny house is, I was planning on getting rid of the mobile home, and so I've just got stacks of storage tubs and boxes and tools and leftover supplies from you know, building supplies, and I've got lumber in there, you know, big old things, the screws and nails, and yeah, so that's one thing. Living in a tiny house is cool, maybe if you're in a city and don't need any storage, but if you're trying to raise 200 chickens and homestead, you need a barn or something. You need some storage. You need other places other than a tiny house. So I've been doing my incubating of eggs in the tiny cabin, and those fans are loud, and not to mention the air conditioners all summer long were loud. So I can't film inside the tiny cabin when it's warm outside or when I've got the incubators running. Otherwise, you get a very annoying hum in the background of everything. So yeah, that's kind of my recap on 2020. And kind of, you know, that's what I was planning on doing in 2020. Then I ran out of money. I ran out of time because I was spending all of my efforts trying to earn enough to pay the bills. And so that's kind of my to-do list right now. Is you just heard all of my to-do list is if I want to be NP-IP certified so that I can make a living with my breeding program. And I'm doing pretty well on that, as a matter of fact. I have sold, I've sold a ton, over 100 baby chicks in the past couple months. Probably close to 200 baby chicks I've sold in the past couple months. It's going very well. The demand was still there over the winter, which I was surprised. And I could have sold more if I'd had them. So that's very encouraging. I know people were buying baby chicks almost as much as they were buying up toilet paper, and that seems to be the trend going into 2021. I know Murray McMurray is one hatchery I keep an eye out on, and they just they don't even start shipping until February. They've already sold out of a lot of their breeds. I think the Whiting True Blues, which I also have, they were sold out until June or July already. So they'd already sold out for February, March, April, May, and June. So 5 months worth, they were already sold out. So I think the demand is going to be there again for the baby chicks this year. So yeah, on my to-do list is all of that stuff: getting rid of the mobile home, chopping down trees, getting rid of the ham radio tower, picking up trash, picking up more trash, putting in a septic system, leveling the tiny house, putting skirting on it, running the electric and the trench, moving the electric service to a new pole, picking up more trash, and so that is basically my to-do list. But I am not going to do any. Some people have been asking, well, how come you haven't been doing any of that stuff this year? Well, once I started looking into it in September, I was getting ready to go. I was getting ready to buy some type of structure to replace that mobile home. And then another opportunity came up. And so earlier in the year, I didn't have the resources to get anything done. Over the summer, I didn't have any of the resources to get things done. Then when you helped me out in August, I had the resources to get stuff done. I started looking into it. And so now I've got that to-do list, but I'm not going to do anything on that to-do list. And I haven't been doing anything on that to-do list for a couple months now because I'm buying this house and moving. Thanks for watching. See you in tomorrow's video with a property tour. Take her easy, everybody.